There you go. You did it. You saved his life.
Wait, that's it?
That's it. At the base of the fire. Squeeze. Go down a little lower. A little lower. A little lower. Back and forth.
Do you have any band-aids in here?
I have lots of band-aids. I have little band-aids. I have real big band-aids.
Yeah, oh, you're gonna borrow it?
Oh no, you don't get to use the camera.
So this is some great material to take with you as well. Making sure to check your smoke alarms. And then also check your fire safety as well.
This is another memorable day in the history of the St. Louis Park Fire Department. An amazing opportunity for the community to connect on all things about safety and prevention and community risk reduction. All your neighbors coming together to talk about one thing, and that's making this a better place to live. It's a great time in St. Louis Park.
So if you walk into the house or walk into the kitchen and you see a fire in the oven, you want to leave that exactly as it is. You do not want to open that door, because what's going to happen if you open that door is you're going to get more oxygen to the fire, and it could actually spread outside of the oven. The other thing is, opening that up is going to let out a lot of smoke that's not good to breathe in for that. So what you're going to want to... This is all fake smoke and fake fire, so so it's very safe. This is just to show you what you should and shouldn't do around a fire.
Oh, just...
Yeah, so then we got a vent out, taken out of the room here. So you want to leave that door shut, and if you're able to safely turn off the oven, go ahead and do that. If the stovetop is on fire and you can't reach the on-off switch or the panel, just go ahead and leave that as it is and get out of the house and call 911.
How come you can't turn on the siren?
Because it's too loud. It's gonna hurt our ears. So basically with the police department, this is our medical bag right here. We have all our medical stuff for when we gotta respond to medical situations. This is our fire extinguishers for when we gotta extinguish fires at a cause. This is all kind of our minor stuff for like motor assistance and stuff. And then our secret weapon here is like a teddy bear for little kids when they just don't feel up to it, and we just make them happy with the teddy bear.
It moves. It blinks.
We're doing good.
Good job. Again.
One more.
Okay, my family's all from. Whoop.
Careful, buddy.
It's a good place for an accident, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So as far as the talons go, humans have about 20 pounds per square inch on their grip. 20 pounds, average, 300.
300?
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming to the grease fire demonstration. This is what you do not want to do. You do not want to put water on oil because it doesn't put it out. Okay, here we go. Pretty neat, huh? How to extinguish a fire like that? You're just gonna slide a pizza pan across the top of that pan and put out the fire. And once you get that pan over it, fire goes out, leave it there, don't move it, don't move the pan, don't try to get outside with it because you're gonna trip and you're gonna burn yourself. Just leave it there, turn off the flame underneath the pan, and wait until it cools off. How many have a fire extinguisher in the kitchen or near the kitchen? ABC fire extinguisher? How many have these near your kitchen? Near the kitchen, not in the kitchen, but near it. Good.
What we like to stress in St. Louis Park is learning hands-only CPR. Roughly 350,000 cases of cardiac arrest happen per year. And what happens when the heart stops beating and the body is horizontal? All that blood goes down to our back and butts, where it's not going to do any good. So fast compressions keeps that blood moving. And as long as somebody calls 911, you get fire, police, and ambulance. So I don't know if anyone saw the demo in there, but we do hands-only CPR classes a couple of times a month. It's very simple, and we'd love to have as many people that we can teach as possible. And there's also this app called Pulse Point, which is essentially Uber for cardiac arrest. And what happens is if you're in a public area like this and there's a cardiac event within 400 feet of where you're at, it'll alert your phone to tell you that there's a cardiac event happening. The best part about it is what you learn in a hands-only CPR class, the Pulse Point app will also tell you what to do. It has a metronome. It tells you everything you need to do. So please sign up on either Facebook, the fire department webpage, or next door.
So the demonstration that we're gonna do tonight is a demonstration that demonstrates the benefit of home sprinklers, fire sprinklers in your home. We see them in commercial buildings all the time, and many people don't really understand that they can be in your home. Homes can be retrofitted with them, and homes that are being new constructed can be easily augmented with fire sprinklers for a very low cost. Generally around 1% of the total construction cost can get you sprinklers in the home. And why is that important? Well, a couple things. Fire sprinklers reduce the overall damage to your property in the event of a fire by over 70%. Lives, your family's lives. And when you see this fire and you see how fire can be quickly controlled by one sprinkler head, as opposed to having the fire come through the house, the fire department, when it gets there, is going to be using large hose lines like this. The small amount of water that a sprinkler head uses versus the large amount of water that these fire hose uses is going to make a huge difference in how quickly you recover from that incident and get back into your home. So sprinklers are important. Sprinklers saves lives, sprinklers save property, and all of us should be thinking about a way to add them to our homes. And whenever you go someplace, whether you stay in a hotel or you go to a building, a theater, any place you go, you should be looking to see whether they have sprinklers. Adults, when you take your kids to college and you're looking for dorm rooms, make sure that they're sprinkled. The other part of this conversation is really about the fire service, and I think it's important as taxpayers you understand and know kind of how the fire service works. This department is a combination department. We have career firefighters and part-time workforce that work together collaboratively to create a total solution for response in this community for both EMS and fire. That's important, but I want you to understand the costs associated with that, so you can, as you watch these firefighters put out this fire, you can have a sense of what's going on. So the firefighters are wearing a lot of protective clothing, and the protective clothing is generally an ensemble of their turnout gear, their coat, their boots, their hats, their hoods. That runs, by the time you get it all said and done, about $5,000. The SCB or air pack on their back is another $5,000 to $7,000. And then you put the face piece, it's about $200, and then you put all the other equipment and training. It gets up to be around $15,000 per firefighter. So when we're talking about these as our most important assets, it's important to think about that. The other thing I think is interesting to note is that the Minnesota Fire Service is one of the least funded fire services in the country. We rank 21st in population in the United States, and we rank 45th in how the fire service is funded by the state of Minnesota. So we talked about how fire is kind of insidious, it's dangerous, it grows fast. I think what's important as you watch the fire grow during this demonstration, you'll have a chance to see just how quickly fire can take over a room. That's why it's important for you to alert 911 the minute you know of something and get out of your home. That's why important, as Chief Wolf will talk about, closing your door to keep the fire out. So when you watch these fires burn, you'll see that it doesn't take long. Basically what happens is, in the first 0 to 1.5 minutes, the fire kind of gets rolling. At about the 2-minute mark, generally, Between 2 and 3 minutes is when there's a notification somewhere in the home that there's a fire. The fire alarm, the smoke alarm will go off, and you're alerted. You may be asleep, you may not hear it right away, but eventually you get up and then you try to figure out, where's this fire coming from? Now you're seeing that in this 2 to 3 minutes, you're notified. So now what are you going to do? You're going to call 911. So in the next 4 to 5 minutes that it takes to get the fire department from the station to your home, this fire is growing at a rate of about doubling in size every 60 seconds. Now you can see the room on the left. In that very short period of time, that fire's been controlled by that sprinkler head. And what's happening on the fire on the right? It continues to grow. It continues to take on more fuel and create a larger hazard or risk for the family. So the fire is going to get rolling. Remember, we're still 5 minutes away. The fire department's still 5 minutes away from your home. You're now looking for a path out of your house. You've practiced your rescue plan. You've practiced your meet in the front yard plan. And now you're trying to get out of your house. If you're in a sprinklered house, you'd be safe. You'd be just simply going out of your room. So now this fire is rolling. Normally the fire department would get there. It takes, an average of 4 minutes, 4 to 4.5 minutes. By the time they get on scene, it takes about between 1 to 2 minutes to get the hose line pulled off the truck and in service. And then you can see quickly directing water onto the fire, we can put it out. So one of the things that's in your home that it's important that's changed, right? So if you think back to your grandparents or your parents' home, there were a lot of natural fibers, cottons, wools, those types of organic materials on furniture. Today, most of the furniture is made out of basically petroleum. It's polyester, it's plastic, it's glue, it's laminates, and those things become fuel. So the fires burn hotter, they burn faster, and the damage is a greater type of damage because the heat's higher. So, who in this audience would rather have a sprinkler system in their house control their fire? Yeah, I would agree.
Thank you, Chief Coring. My name's John Wolf. I'm the Deputy Fire Chief here. I'm in charge of operations. And so we respond to your homes when they're on fire, and we respond for medical emergencies. There's something you can do. I know that fire built quickly, and it didn't take long for the entire room to be on fire. There's something that you can do every night that's very important, especially with your little ones, is close your doors. We have a brochure I think some folks are passing out right now, but that fire is about 1,000 degrees or more in the room where the fire is. But a room with the door closed right next door will be less than 100 degrees. And all the bad smoke that comes out, that within 30 seconds, if you breathe it, can kill you. In the next room with the door closed, it's still safe. So close your doors. Make sure your smoke alarm has good batteries, and have a safe escape plan. Thank you for coming tonight.